Hello, I'm Ginny from Ginny Coppenhall Photography, and this is my final photography challenge as part of the Digital Dukes Creative Homework Programme. My photography series has been called Eat, Sleep, Create, Repeat, and I've absolutely loved creating these challenges for you and seeing the results. I'll share some more information in a minute about how you can show us your photographs from this week. And please do go back and see the previous 7 challenges and take part now. There's no rule to say that you have to do them on the week that they're set. It's never too late. So go to the social media pages for the Dukes and have a look for those videos. So thank you for those who've done that and shared your photos and taken part and told us that you've enjoyed it. We've loved it too. So I'll tell you how you can share those photographs with us. The Facebook post, so the Dukes will share this video, and underneath in the comments section you can share your photograph and do tell us a little bit more about it as well if you like. On Instagram at the Dukes Lancaster you can tag the Dukes, same on Twitter but at the Dukes Theatre. And please do email your photographs to tom@dukeslancaster.org too, if you can, because we love to collate and compile some of the creativity that's occurred through these challenges and others via the Dukes pages. So, as you know by now probably, I always invite you to tell us a story through photographs. These challenges are for anybody, any level of photographer with any kit, including smartphones. And everybody's going to get something slightly different from these challenges. It may be creative inspiration. It may be a fun activity to do with your family, or it might be teaching you some new photography tips, hopefully. So I invite you to tell us a story, and then I give you a tip afterwards to stretch you that bit further. So the final challenge for you this week is to tell us a story about Wabi Sabi. And you may not have heard that phrase before, so I'll do my best to explain it now. And do look it up online as well. It's spelled Wabi Sabi, 2 words. And it's an ancient Japanese philosophy that celebrates imperfection, impermanence, and transience. So how can I explain that further? So it's seeing the beauty and appreciating things like mistakes, things like cracks in objects, things that haven't been finished, and it's accepting that it's the nature of life and it's the nature of the everyday, that things change, that things break down, that things are rebuilt, and it's all a cycle and a process, and that's something to enjoy and appreciate and be grateful for. So I think it's a beautiful philosophy, and I first came across it through another photography challenge that I did called 52 Frames, and they set a challenge around this, and ever since I've been really interested in the concept, so I'd like to pass that on to you. So it could be things around your home that you have that are slightly imperfect. Maybe you've had them for a long time. They've got knocks and marks and scratches. It could be furniture. It could be a cup with a chip in it, but it's your favourite cup and it tells a story and it brings back memories for you. It could be when you're out on your walks, you might see stone walls that are falling down, but that just gives it an extra bit of beauty and texture and just changes the landscape for the better, you may feel, just because it has that history and that story. It could be things like aging skin and the wisdom that conveys and that holds. There's lots of things. So Wabi Sabi is also about the everyday, as I say, so it may be some things in our everyday life that we view as Wabi Sabi, or we try to remember that philosophy. And one maybe if you're trying to learn a new skill at the moment, you may not have got there yet, and you may be still learning, making lots of mistakes. Is there a way that you could photograph that and celebrate that as part of the process and part of the learning? So there's lots of things to choose from. So have a think and do read up a bit more about it online. There's absolutely loads out there, and I'm sure there are books written about it. So I've tried to do my best in a couple of minutes. But my extra challenge to you today is to use a filter. So filters in photography have not always had the best reputation because often they're used in selfies, in portraits, to just change the way you look. And actually that goes against wabi-sabi in a way, doesn't it? To try to get rid of wrinkles or skin imperfections or colour differences, and just try to give this sort of sheen to a photograph. So when I say using filters, I love a good filter on a photo because I feel it can add to it. It can give you another level of creativity that you might not have had before. And a well-chosen filter can tell the story, can be part of the story, and it can give different colour tones, perhaps different texture. You can get different texture filters. You can get ones that add dust and things like that to make things look a bit more vintage. So for this challenge, that might be appropriate. It changes the lighting sometimes and the look of it, and it can just draw your attention to the subject as well, depending on the filters. And they're just really fun to play with and overlay and see which ones work well and which ones don't. So filters can be, well, there's so many out there, and you can get them on things like Instagram. You can apply filters as you upload your photos, but also the in-camera your smartphone camera often has inbuilt filters. So you go to the edit part of your app and then look for the filters there. Doesn't often give a massive range, so you may want to use another app. So as I've mentioned, Snapseed's great. That has some filters in the looks section, or it might be called styles on your phone. But I also use an app called PicsArt. Well, I've got a few actually. PicsArt I love. There is a free version, but I do pay. It's not the cheapest, so it just depends how much you get into it but that offers loads. That can be a whole day's workshop in itself using that app. But the filters are great. So many different ones. There's other apps. I've got one called Mextures, which adds different textures and light, and it's just endless what you can do with filters. And I just don't want you to rule them out because they've got a bit of a bad rep sometimes. I'd love you to have a play. And just something else to mention, a filter doesn't have to be the end result. So you may apply a filter, but then still go on to do further edits to perhaps the lighting, the contrast, things like that. Anyway, I'd love to see your photographs as always. And after this video, there'll be a slide reminding you the ways that you can share your photographs with us. And keep taking photos and keep experimenting and being playful. And thank you for joining us on these challenges. Bye bye.